Superman's sidekick, Boy Thunder, was really careless and overly aggressive. First, he compromised Batman's position while they were trailing Ratcatcher because Ratcatcher was trying to feed some dude to his rats. And then while him and the Teen Titans were taking down a group of pirates hijacking an oil rig, he got so angry that he almost killed one of the pirates because they shot Aqualad in the arm. And as we all know, Superman is the embodiment of kindness, compassion, and hope. So he wasn't happy about having a sidekick who was excessively aggressive, so he pulled him to the side, expressing that there were non-lethal ways he could have handled that threat, and that he couldn't let his anger get the best of him, because if he did, he'd end up being responsible for someone's death, which wouldn't be tolerated if they were gonna continue being partners. And that's when David broke his silence with a shocking confession, to say the least, because technically he was already responsible for the loss of not just one, but 2 lives, and those lives were the lives of his parents, because before the destruction of his homeworld, his parents built an escape rocket big enough for all of them to fit in, because somehow they knew that the end of the world was coming. But David thought that they were crazy and didn't believe them, so he would mess around in their lab because he thought it was fun. And one day he accidentally destroyed their rocket, which they never ended up fixing because they just didn't have the time. And so when that day finally came, the day that their world was actually coming to an end, they didn't have a rocket to escape in, just one that was big enough for him. Upon hearing this, Superman was puzzled, but before he could even say anything, Batman requested him for help because the Joker and Key managed to flood the entire city of Gotham with a door that acted as a portal leading to the bottom of the Gotham River. So Clark flew there as fast as possible, saving tons of citizens along Bruce's side immediately upon his arrival, and eventually he managed to drain all of the water and close the door that was letting all of it in. Unfortunately, the flood caused a ton of damage though, so Batman and David began to plan out their next rescue, but while doing so, they were met with a surprise, and not just any surprise, the Joker, who managed to pull David inside of a disappearing trap door and then Jokerize him. When the Joker kidnapped Boy Thunder, he trapped him in a special torture chamber made by Key, demanded to be given Batman and Superman's secret identities, and then sprayed him with a ton of Joker toxin that immediately threw him into a nightmare with Jokerized versions of Batman, Superman, and Robin. And what made all of the torment that much worse was that David genuinely didn't know Batman and Superman's secret identities. They never told him, so he was literally being tortured for no reason, while Superman, the Teen Titans, Batman and Robin, and even the entire GCPD helplessly looked for him. But without a doubt, the most angry of them all was Superman. Not only was he angry at the Joker, but he was angry at himself because he felt like he was responsible for David being taken. But eventually Batman was able to find a clue in Key's old lab, leading to a warehouse that puzzled all of them because it was filled to the brim with all of these mysterious floating doors. Doors that either didn't lead anywhere or were keeping monsters inside. They opened what seemed like every single one of them with absolutely no sign of David. Things started to seem more hopeless than it already was. But then the world's greatest detective pointed out that despite there being hundreds of doors, he only used one. And unlike the Joker, he didn't wear gloves, so theoretically, his fingerprints should be on one of the door handles. And of course, he was right. Superman was able to find the only door with fingerprints on it using his microscopic vision, and upon walking through it, David was bleeding from the mouth thanks to Joker and his crowbar. But unfortunately, before they could catch him, he opened up a door containing a giant alien monster inside that instantly attacked them. But David wasn't gonna let him get away that easy, so he followed him into a giant Joker funhouse, and when he eventually got a hold of him, he struck him down with a massive energy blast, asking him how he liked pain. David was absolutely furious. How could the Joker be so sick? Getting off on torturing a child? He deserved to die, and likely would have if Robin and Aqualad didn't put David to a stop. But before doing so, David made a promise to the Joker. If he ever saw him again, even if it were 20 years from now, he would kill him without hesitation. And that's when it's revealed that David is actually Magog from the Kingdom Come storyline, in which he actually does end up killing the Joker. But sadly, that's when our issue comes to an end. But if you want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.